Left 4 Dead came out back in 2008. It was a really fun game. A lot of people still play it as well as the second game, which came out a year after. It obviously was really fun. I really remembered it very well. Every now and then I look at it, I think of myself as the game being good. Now, with that being said, Ed, I am Lucas, a quiet 16-year-old. I was the type of kid who spent far my time immersed in the digital worlds of video games. My crowded room was littered with posters and epic battles of characters from my favorite titles, but none of which captured the imagination like the iconic Left 4 Dead series. The thrill of surviving a zombie apocalypse with friends made me feel alive, and yet little did I know that my obsession would lead me into this uncover a chilling secret. It was one day, a rainy afternoon, as lightning crackled the sky. I decided to scour the internet for any news of the upcoming Left 4 Dead universe games. However, it has been pretty much over 15 years since we had a Left 4 Dead game. Drenched in curiosity, I stumbled upon a niche forum called Old Valve Archives. The forum was filled with discussions of the hardcore fans, avid collections, but one thread stood out from the rest of the thread titled The Lost Beta, Left 4 Dead Free. I clicked on it, and my pulse quickened as it read through the post. The game, supposedly a beta version of the highly anticipated sequel, had been released secretly to select a few back in 2012. Deteriorated by extreme violence, Valve decided to scrap the project as the whole thing became too much to do, and since their software wasn't really the best for it. Right? So, with that being said, they scrapped it, burying the whole file with its legacy in oblivion. The haunting rumors surrounding this lost game, however, revealed something far more sinister. One user claiming to have played the beta spoke to horrifying monsters and grotesque mutations that far exceeded than those original game. Words like the Veiled Terror and the Shambler echoed throughout the forum, gripping my imagination. I needed to find it. Following the instincts, Lucas dove deeper into the forum, posting a question about how we might be able to acquire the lost beta version. A chilling response came from a user named Dark Coder, for whose profile picture was a static glitch of a bloody, smiling face. Meet me at the old arcade tonight at midnight. I might have what you're looking for. The old arcade was notorious in the community for its dark rumors. Many believed that it's abandoned for years, haunted by the last lost souls of angry video gamers. Despite the fear that dawned on him, Lucas knew where he had to go. Allure of the game was far too strong. As midnight approached, I found myself standing outside the crumbling structure, its somewhat vibrant neon lights long flickering and unlit, gulping down the fear and excitement. I pushed open the heavy door, which creaked ominously. Inside, the atmosphere felt thick, almost suffocating, as he provided through the dimly lit room filled with broken machines. Suddenly, I spotted a shadowy figure hunched over an old desktop. A flickering light illuminated Dark Coder's face, lightening the twisted smirk. "You looking for this?" They dangled the USB drive, glimmering the glow of the screen. "Is that the beta?" Lucas stammered. "Yes, but you should know, this game doesn't play like the others. It takes more than it gives. Are you willing to pay the price?" I hesitated. "What do you mean?" "There's a reason why it was buried. Just remember to turn on your lights off when you play." Ignoring the warning, I reached for the hard drive. The moment that their fingertips brushed, an electric shock danced through Lucas, but I shrugged it off, too enamored by the game in question. Fervor. Back at home, the adrenaline coursed through his veins. He plugged in the USB in the computer. Excitement morphed into dread as the screen flickered to more revealing title, Left 4 Dead Terrors Unleashed. The loading screen was a juxtaposition of familiar elements with warped, demonic silhouettes peering from the corners. Lucas chuckled nervously. This would be just like the original game, only darker. The moment the gameplay started, the horror unfolded. The game was unlike anything I ever experienced. It opened in a forest, lit by only like a sickly green moon. The ambience morphed into grotesque whispers that twisted throughout the air like smoke. Lucas guided his character through the level, quickly discovering that the landscape was not as eerily familiar as it felt alive, pulsating much like the monsters that emerged. The shambler appeared, first a hulking figure draped in the shadows, its ghastly mouth opening into an abyss, filling of rows of crooked teeth that dripped a tar-like slime. The screams of his character echoed throughout the headphones before he could react, and it didn't matter whatever he played as a survivor or infected. No matter what, he lost. It's okay, it's just a game, Lucas assured himself. He restarted from the previous checkpoint. The game played on, but with each attempt to survive grew more horrific, all too real. He began to notice that these monsters weren't just computer-generated enemies. They were communicated, taunting him throughout the screen, with sharp, echoing voices. "You can't escape," the shambler hissed, from its form glitching as it lunged. Hours melted away at the claustrophobic haze of the game until the exhaustion took over, collapsing Lucas onto his bed. The whispers of the screams echoed in his mind, and he drifted off to restless sleep. Nightmares plagued him. The creatures tormented him, their ranks growing. But when he awoke, something felt off. Something felt wrong. The morning light struggled to shine in his room. Shadows lingered longer than usual, and the unnerving feeling of being watched and washed over him. Panic set in. He turned on his favorite video game soundtrack, desperately trying to drown out the haunting memories of the game, but only amplified the dissonance around him. Whispers spiraled into a caliphony. He then noticed the shadows moving into the corner of his vision, too quick to catch. His friends began to notice something was wrong with Lucas. They even hear him mumbling in panic, condemned by the fears of manifesting in wind swipe of the corners of his mind. Eventually he confided in them about the lost game, receiving the sympathetic looks of what beviled concerns. It wasn't long before the nightmares crept into reality. At the foot of his bed one night, behind the dark outside, the veiled terror looming just beyond the threshold of the consciousness, mocking him in half light. At that same night, Lucas's friends came back to check on him. They found him sitting stiff, locked in an eerie silence. The eyes were wide and transfixated, not daring to touch him. They could only hold their breath, uncertain of the horror that they witnessed, a lifeless shell wrapped in the horrors of code turning real. Lucas became the ghost of himself, haunted by the shadows that whisper secrets too terrible to comprehend. With each passing day, the line between reality and the game blurred, trapping him into a sinister design of his own making. Desperate, he found Dark Coder again in the forums, but all that remained were digital ashes of outraged cries for help. In the end, Lucas learned that the game's true price of curiosity was never worth the risk. And as the old arcade lay to rest, forgotten by time, the memory of Lucas remained a lost player in the world beyond rescue, forever haunted by the darkness of the beta no one's meant to find. Still to this day, Lucas never played this game again. He always wondered, what were the developers thinking by creating this? What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, stay pretty.